Although invisible to the human eye, ghost stories and evil spirits are always interesting to talk about. Some mystical stories always exist in various places, while people who love mystery and horror love to come to these places. In various places in the world, there are locations that are notoriously spooky and have mysterious background stories. Here are 5 of the most haunted and spooky cities from around the world. New Orleans, Louisiana. New Orleans is located in Louisiana, LA. Locals, visitors, and psychics around the world agree that New Orleans is considered the most haunted city in all of America. Its 200 years of ghostly legends, voodoo curses, and mossy oak trees have witnessed the Civil War revolution. Locals say that many people have left the city, opening up opportunities for ghosts to come and inhabit the empty and abandoned homes and business districts of New Orleans. What was once a violent city came to a tragic end when a yellow fever epidemic and a massive fire broke out. In the aftermath, the city became a ghost town, and the voices of the dead often echo through Jackson Square in the French Quarter, a historic landmark from the 1960s. New Orleans is also home to Madame Lalaurie, one of the world's most notorious serial killers. In addition to these stories, New Orleans is also haunted by the spirit of the famous voodoo queen Marie Laveau. Her spirit is reported to frequently appear inside St. Louis Graveyard No. 1, strolling through the cemetery and casting Santerian voodoo curses on people entering the cemetery. The horror of New Orleans would not be complete without the tragic story of 2005. Hurricane Katrina hit the city and is considered the worst storm of the century. Sighisoara, Romania. The next most haunted city is in Transylvania, Romania. The country itself is no stranger to the word scary, especially in Sighisoara, which is now a UNESCO heritage site. Famous for its rich history, medieval architecture, and mystical legends, the city is known as the birthplace of many ghost stories and haunted tales. The cold, intense atmosphere also gave birth to the story of Vlad the Impaler, or Dracula, as he is now more popularly known in the real world. Here, Dracula fans have the opportunity to visit his cold and gripping home. To know how cruel Dracula was in the past, this place also features a gruesome torture museum that adds to the fear of visitors. If you're still brave enough to continue, head to the screeching stairs of the Holy Trinity Church, which, after dark, is the scariest place only the very brave visit. If you feel tired after walking around the city, stop by a yellow restaurant known as Casa Vlad Dracul. It is both a restaurant and a museum that claims to be the building where Dracula was born in 1431. Inside the building, all the decorations are Dracula-themed. Baguio, Philippines. According to National Geographic, the city of Baguio in the Philippines is one of the most haunted cities in the world. Plus, Baguio is a rainy and foggy city, making it the perfect setting for horror shades. But behind all that, there is a tragic event behind it that makes this city creepy. In the past, the city was bombed by Allied forces in World War II. Then in 1990, the city was hit again by a devastating earthquake that claimed 1,600 lives. For those of you who like horror and haunted places, come to Baguio. There you will find the Lapril White Building, a haunted colonial-era house. Although it is not open for tourists, you can take photos from the gate anytime. Not far from the place, there is a teacher's camp that can be visited anytime. It used to be used by the Japanese army as a hospital and also a killing ground. Stay there. If you're lucky, you'll find a woman in white, a headless priest, or a woman covered in blood. Or you can stay at Casa Vallejo, a hotel that is the oldest building in the city. It used to be a war detention center in 1917 and 1940. Aside from these places, there are also other equally creepy places, including the foggy Locan Street haunted by a woman, a Philippine military academy where even paranormal activity scares the soldiers, and the abandoned Diplomat Hotel with a grim past. Forbidden City, China. The word forbidden always has its own scorching power, so people will be more curious to see it. Like the Forbidden City in China, the fact is that the Forbidden City is currently no longer prohibited to visit. The Forbidden City is actually not a city, but a palace that has thousands of rooms and hundreds of buildings. It has been the residence of 24 emperors, and ended with the overthrow of the 5-year-old Pai Emperor in 1911. In addition, archaeologists found evidence that the Forbidden City was built right on top of Kublai Khan's palace, a Mongol palace that was just as grand as the Forbidden Palace. As we know, China is very thick with supernatural things, even though this country is fairly advanced in terms of technology and human resources. That's why the Forbidden City is believed to be the most haunted place in China. As the palace of the 24 empires, it has seen many murders and massacres among officials, servants, slaves, and concubines due to political elements. Some tourists and guards have reported hearing the sound of people playing music and royal women standing still and then disappearing. Some guards also claim to see strange-shaped animals passing by in the middle of the night, long-haired women crying, or mysterious figures dressed in ancient eunuch-style clothing. Poveglia Island, Italy. Poveglia is an uninhabited island located in Italy. The island was built by the Venetian government. From 1793 to 1814, it was used as a quarantine site for the bubonic plague. The small island is said to have housed more than 160,000 people who were infected with bubonic plague and spent the rest of their lives there. Poveglia Island is known as a mass grave, as 50% of the land consists of the remains of dead bodies. In 1922, a mental hospital was opened on the island. Locals say that the doctor was crazy and evil, as he tortured and killed many of his patients. Although it was declared a former nursing home, there is clear evidence that it housed mentally ill patients. The hospital was closed in 1968, and the ruins are slowly being reclaimed by greenery. Poveglia is currently off-limits to unauthorized visitors. However, visitors can observe the lagoon around this mysterious island via a boat mystery tour led by a tour guide. They will explain the myths, legends, and mystical stories of Poveglia on a private tour that lasts about 3 hours. Well guys, those are the 5 most haunted and creepy cities from around the world. Please write your comments below and like the video if you like this content, or dislike if you don't like it. Thanks for watching and see you in other videos.